Hello, I'm Tom. This is Website Talk, and this is the first in a series of video episodes entitled No More Crappy Websites, which also happens to be the working title of my forthcoming book. The purpose of the book and the purpose of these videos is to educate you on the difference between good and bad websites. Now, somebody out there watching right now is going, people know the difference between good and bad websites. And I would say, no, a lot of them don't, or there wouldn't be as many crappy websites as there are. Back in 1996, when I first got involved with websites, when anybody first got involved with websites, nobody knew what a good website was. There were no standards. There was no definition of a good website. So I guess we all built crappy websites back then. But 15, 16 years have passed since then, and standards have evolved. We now know what the characteristics and the criteria for a good and bad website are. An attractive and effective website versus an ugly and dysfunctional website. Apparently, not everyone has learned what those standards are. They're unaware of the standards. They don't care about the standards. They don't believe the standards. I don't know. Lots of reasons probably, but the thing that is most disturbing, I guess, is not that the average owner of a website doesn't know the difference between good and bad in many cases, but that quite often developers don't know the difference. And that is very alarming to me and really kind of hard to understand. So I want to start out here with a basic, fundamental, foundational statement here. And this is kind of the core of what I teach about websites. And it goes like this. The success or failure of your website depends on the experience that the user has when they visit your site. It really is that simple. And it follows then that the best way to have a good website, the first step in creating a positive experience, is to get rid of anything that might create a negative experience. So in other words, there's a whole lot of things with respect to websites that you should not do. And the easiest thing to do as a first step is learn what those things are and don't do them. From there on, it's fine-tuning. So I want to start out this episode with going through some items from one of the sections of my book called the Top 14 Website Sins. I know it should be a top 10 list, but I couldn't stop at 10. So I'm just going to go through a few of these. I'm not going to go through all of them because I'd like you to buy the book. Number one is don't do splash screens. If you don't know what a splash screen is, it's a usually an artistic sort of thing that is done in Flash, meaning it's very moves a lot, is fancy, has a lot of fancy art and so forth, and absolutely no useful function. Splash screens are usually created by artistic types, and don't misunderstand, I love artists, but they are done for the sake of art. What they do is they get in the way of the user and the information you're trying to give the user. A splash screen is something that has no information on it, and the user has to click through it to get to the website itself, where the information is. And people are not looking to be entertained by a bunch of fancy, swirling, moving art. They are looking for the information that's on your website, so you want to get them there as soon as possible. And all a splash screen does is get in the way of that. So one of the rules for having a good website is don't put anything in between the user and the information in your site. Another one, I'm just going to jump around here a little bit. Oh my gosh, don't do this. Don't ever have a page in your site that says under construction on it. You know what will happen if you have an under construction message? Somebody will look at that, and the under construction message will probably say page under construction, check back later. They won't ever check back later. They will leave and they'll never be back. Under construction messages are just juvenile. If you have a page in your site that is not ready to be published, don't even have it available to look at all. Don't even have it on the menu until you're ready to make it public. One more here. Do not use dark backgrounds, particularly black backgrounds or any kind of dark backgrounds. Reason for this is light colored text, let's say white text on a black background, is harder to read than black text on a white background. People are used to seeing black on white, not white on black. And this gets really abused sometimes. Having a dark background is in itself is bad enough, but some people actually put dark colored text on a dark background. For example, dark blue text on a black background. And it's almost like the person who built the site said, let's see how difficult we can make this for someone to read. Now, I'm sure they really didn't go through that thought process, but that's what they accomplished. They made it very difficult. So we'll cover some more of these in a later episode, but I just wanted to give you a little taste here. And see you next time.